All this week we've been digging into precious metals, their rally to record highs, their comeback down, and then what's next? There's no better time for a reality check with Veronique de Rugy, Senior Research Fellow at the Mercatus Center. Veronique joins us from our D.C. Bureau to help us separate myth from fact. And
hi, Matt.
We're talking, Veronique, hello, glad to have you. We're talking gold. Hi. Gold bugs will definitely want to listen up because these are some interesting myths that they tend to talk about a lot, but maybe not everyone knows about. We're going to start with your first myth, that gold is at an all-time high, you say, is the myth. The fact, when you adjust for inflation, gold is not at an all-time high. And the chart we're going to pull up is a line chart. It shows the inflation-adjusted gold price with a big spike right after 1980.
As you can see, I mean, for all the talk about how high the price of gold is, you know, it was way sparklier in the 80s. I mean, it was 41% higher in today's dollars if you in 81. 41% higher.
To be fair, though, that's not as far off as a lot of big gold bugs would say. So we don't have that much further to go. So you're saying when we reach like $2,600 for a troy ounce of gold, then we're there.
Then absolutely. Then we're there. Then you can start buying me gold, Matt.
2,542.88. I'd buy you gold anytime, Veronique. Let's move on to the second myth here. Gold is a hedge against inflation is the myth, you say. The fact, historically, gold prices have been more volatile than the CPI. So it doesn't really pan out, is what you're saying. When you put the charts together, let's do just that right now. You have an annual percentage change here in CPI and then also the value of gold.
Yes, you can see, I mean, the gold is changing at not only much more regularly than the CPI, but also it has like bigger swings than it does. So it's just like, it doesn't seem that inflation is really the major factor driving the variation in gold demand. On the other hand, it is clear that, you know, gold is clearly an edge against like big catastrophe, perceived or feared.
So this is why, I mean, you talk about what the drivers are on gold. A lot of people will say inflation, but a lot of people also will point to global unrest. And when you see that kicking up, you see the price of gold kicking up as well.
Yeah, systemic risk, fear of government defaults, all of these together explain the spike in gold. The other thing is could be a good old supply and demand story, right? I mean, you've had massive increase in demand for gold from China, which is about to take on India as the biggest consumer, and a decrease in the rate of supply. So that could be also a big driver.
If only those pesky central banks weren't manipulating the price, right? And the IMF. Let's take a look at, on that note, myth number 3 here. The myth is we are sitting on a gold mine, and I think we here in the United States of America. The fact, you say, is that while gold is worth more than we think, it will not make a dent in the U.S. debt. So you're talking about the actual physical gold that we as a country are in possession of.
Yes. So
here's the chart.
Yeah, is the chart. So that chart shows you the 11 billion that are reported on our books as the value of the gold that we own. We own 8 tons of gold, and on the 400 billion is what it would actually be priced at its current spot market value, right? It's 400 billion. That's like the good news. It's like if you price it at its market value, it's much higher than what's on our book. The bad news is that even if we could sell it, right? Even if we could sell it at
without
this price,
affecting the market,
we couldn't. That's nothing compared to the size of our deficit, and it's a drop in the bucket of our gigantic debt.
It pays our deficit spending for 3 months, right? Veronique, thank you so much. Yeah?
I was going to say, I mean, more interestingly, I mean, it would be interesting to actually figure out what happens to the price of gold if the U.S. start dumping its gold. Because, I mean, we are the biggest owner of gold.
I have a guess on that one, but I'll save it. And, you know, viewers can email me.
How far would it fall, though?
It would probably be a big drop there. Veronique, thanks for joining us. Veronique de Rugy.